So that's kind of what I did. I did the drumming, I did the construction leading, and then a lot of it was almost like being a youth leader. I came on to the team thinking like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna build houses and play music, and like that's it. One of the funnest aspects of being on the Next Step team and working with them all summer was building relationship with the students who came through. And it just kind of like boggles my mind how much someone can impact you and how much you can impact them in just a week and even just a couple days most of the time. There were hundreds of students who came through, but it was just really cool to come alongside those kids and just like see where they're at, and then also just to play with them. We played What Are the Odds with them, and I got to smash some eggs on kids' heads, make them eat Argentinian super chilies, which is false. I don't know. It was just a pepper that was super hot, and we'd make kids eat them and they would cry. So it was so much fun. And so you just have all these kids who you're having fun with, laughing with, bantering with, and encouraging and like hearing about their struggles at the same time, and then also building houses for people who really need it. And it was just this crazy, conglomeration of like doing community service, having a ton of fun, and then having like genuine real talk about things that we are struggling with together. And so there was just so much growth that came out of it, which was super cool. Yeah, so we didn't just provide shelter for people, we built relationships. And a lot of times you would think that that's like with the students who come through, but even more so was with the residents in Rosedale. And so the community members that we worked with were not always Christians, or, like maybe they believed in God, you don't really know anything after that, and yet you're still working alongside these people. But what was also super cool is we got to work with a local missionary family, the Ramseys, and that was just so cool to hear their story. They have one of the coolest stories of any family that I've met, and just like to see the love that they have for these people. They were a family who lived in Ohio, and they felt called to move to West Virginia in this little town, pretty much in the boonies of the mountains, and just set up shop there and just love on people, and just to kind of hear that mission statement and then get to work with them all summer and see that in action was super cool. Overall, nothing really prepared me for this summer at all, and they even had like a letter whenever you apply and you get accepted, and it's like, okay, now it's time to start fundraising, but you should know that this is going to be super hard. And they basically lay out a letter that's like, you're probably going to cry on some of these days. Like, you're not going to get sleep, you're going to be exhausted, and like leaders will be difficult, students will be difficult, community members will be difficult, and like at the end of the day you're going to be thinking like, why did I sign up to do this? And there were some times where like you were dang close to that moment, but in the end like you realize that it's this exhausting, exhilarating adventure that was full of me kind of having to step out of my comfort zone and trust God. And in addition to like being tired all the time, you also feel the most joyful all the time, and you're so tired because you've been working so hard for God and like what God would be wanting you to do. So at the end of the day, I would be physically exhausted from working. I would be mentally exhausted from just having my brain on all day and having to lead people and cook here and then help clean up here and then build stuff and then play music and play game, and like it was just go for the entire summer. And so you'd be physically exhausted, emotionally or mentally exhausted, and then emotionally, dude, we had some powerful nights, and like the stories that kids would tell you, you're like, you guys are struggling with a lot. Community members, you would hear their stories and you feel so blessed in your life that you were spared from a lot of the stuff that they had to go through. And so you're just exhausted in every way that you can be. Also emotionally in a good way. Sometimes you're just overcome with like, this is so awesome and I love all of these people. Other days you hate those people and that's why you're exhausted. I worshiped God the whole summer through drumming, construction, cooking, talking, playing with people, everything. It was just everything we did just felt like you were doing it for God. Like you'd wake up with purpose and it wasn't hard to do what God wanted you to do, Now that I'm back in life, you have to like make time for that. But in West Virginia, you would wake up and that's what you do, and you go to sleep and you were doing what God would want like the entire day. And in West Virginia ever since, I've never felt such purpose and fulfillment in my life, and I've never felt the Holy Spirit or God's presence like I did there. Like, you're so immersed in God, and everything is just dripping with God. Everything that you do, everything that everyone else is doing, the whole environment is something that I've never been able to be a part of before. And so, if I could sum it up, like, this summer, in a sense, like, I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't expect what happened, but at the same time, it gave me a more abundant life because I was just loving God and loving people. And, like, even though I didn't know how to do construction, even though, there are so many things that I felt so incompetent at doing, like, if you love God and you love people, He's gonna make it work. Kind of a takeaway, if I can preach a little bit after going on this trip and coming back, is just continue giving, even if it's not just to me. If someone else is doing anything like this, if you seriously believe in Next Step, and I super believe in Next Step, they are so great. You can continue donating to them, donate to your church, donate to other charities. We have so much, and we are blessed so much in what we have, and we should be giving that to other people. And if you accept God's gifts with an open hand and you continue to pass those on, you will continue to get more. But if you seize those gifts and you hold on to them and you just clutch to them and you never let them go and you never share them or pass them on, that's all you're going to be stuck with. And you're not going to see a lot of growth from that. Yeah. Love God. Love people. Thank you so much. You guys are the best.